All right, so I imagine up compliments. And I don't imagine they're a big deal. I experience inner conversations. And I don't imagine they're a big deal. There's something about sighs that makes surrender very easy or very weird. So I imagine compliments. I get them pretty much every day. Tony, you're looking good. Love your podcast. This package I got from you, tremendous. This is not the same shit that other people are doing. Yeah, sneaky crass commercial. But I want you to imagine getting compliments. See, here's one. How'd you do it? How do you do what you do? See, I show people things, so they just watch me over time, and they'll say, hey, what is it about you and Victoria? I had a girl at the pool a couple weeks ago, Jess. She asked about any suggestions. Because I told her how long Victoria and I had been together and a little bit about our past, and she's like, any advice? She's a lovely young lady. And I say, I've got 2 things for you. And I gave her 3. But here's the cool bit, gang. Somebody asking for advice is a compliment. They obviously respect you enough to stretch, to ask. Somebody giving you a direct compliment is a compliment. Cool. Now the thing is, I don't make a big deal out. Hey, I got a compliment today. Here's the thing, right? When you make the win bigger than you, oh my God, I actually got a compliment. You're setting yourself up for disaster. See, I imagine up Victoria's yum every single day before I get out of bed. It's one of my Joseph Goddard's specific events of my day already having gone my way. This is not about having 3 general feelings. It's not about having a good day. There's some very common mistakes out there because people just make shit up as they go along. I make up shit as I go along, but I test it for years before I teach it. When you have 9 to 10, I always say 6 to 11, 7 to 12, or half a dozen to a dozen, something like that. When you nail half a dozen to a dozen wins before you get out of bed, I start having my wins within 30 minutes of getting out of bed. You see, I nail the Imaginal X before getting out of bed, and I start having documentable wins immediately. By the way, some of them are your compliments. Some of them are your purchases. Some of them are your shares. I love imagining compliments. I don't go, oh my God, somebody this week, we had a share. I'm a massive fan of specific everyday wins. Because when you have specific everyday wins, you really grow in confidence. And I can tell when someone has grown in confidence because they become curious about what else is possible. So way back in the old days, I can't tell you how many 100,000 punches I've thrown in my life. I've been a martial artist since I was 12. I am now 56. That's 44 years. I can't tell you how many hundreds of thousands of punches I've thrown. And I can tell you, if I throw one right now, I'll learn from it. I'll explore it while it's happening. The way that I punch sure has changed over the years. It took me about 6-7 years to really nail what I would call a solid reverse punch. A lot of people think they nail it in about 6 weeks. It took me about 7 years. And I'm talking really nailing it, like old school, like they threw it back around 1900, right? Most people today don't punch like that. But I managed to find a fella who found a fella who found a fella who knew how to actually punch and train you how to punch. So I trained with him. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to learn. I want you to explore from every imagining, every win, every near win, every revision, turn some good into great. Because I can tell you there's nothing better to become obsessed with. Because what will happen is you will compliment everything in your world. You will augment, you will amplify, you will tune up, you will amplify, you will appreciate, increase in value everything in your world. Yet how the state of loving teacher complements the state of loving puppy dad, and how they're both complemented by loving happy husband, and how they're explored by the states that I enjoy. You guys that got the procrastination pack, pay close attention to that part, because there's really, as far as I can tell, two kind of states that run my life. First, states that I love from. Second, states that I enjoy from. And where those two mingle, action happens continuously. That's where the dance happens between those two, because of those two kinds of states. And I appear to digress. Because so many people, they wait. Waiting to me is nothing more than procrastination. Procrastination happens, one of the ways that it happens is people make a big deal about it. I want you to discover the big deal of you. And you'll notice why I don't imagine up vague bigness. I imagine up specifics. Every punch I've learned from. By the way, I've done more than punch for the past 44 years. Yeah, I've done all kind of things. But I've spent hundreds of thousands of repetitions. And believe me, do I sound like I'm spent? I'm excited. I'm curious. And that's how I want you to be about imagining. So today, the air's got this chill to it. Yesterday evening, these high winds blew through, and in the middle of the night, a massive hailstorm. I'm talking massive. I mean, like, we've got inches of hail still melting in the garden. It's only 7:38 in the morning. But I'm in the hot tub. The hot tub's probably at about 42 degrees centigrade. And that frozen stuff out there has the air chilled at probably about 32 Fahrenheit. So the contrast between 40 Celsius and 32 Fahrenheit is just delightful to me. Brings back memories. And here's the biggie for today. Memory is imagination. And Neville taught to remember something that implies, something that actually follows your wish fulfilled. And if you can remember being complimented and how that feels, and that it's not a big deal that you're complimented. It's a daily thing, because I want you to have daily wins. If you got gold today, my biggest suggestion, that procrastination pack at NevilleGoddardStore.com. And there we explore two things. Number one, procrastination. If you experience waiting and wanting in any way, this is gold for you. Number two, if you find, well, some people are frustrated, some people can't take action, some people can't take consistent action, that's because your identities don't line up. Your identities have to, where you love from, has to align up with what you enjoy. And if you don't nail these, you're probably just going to be spinning in the mud. All right. That's what I got. Have a lovely day. This is the voice of Mr. 2020 coming to you live from Melbourne, Australia. All rights reserved in all media. Doobie-doo-bop-bop-bop. And that's what I got. Have a lovely day. Don't wait any longer. Surrender and soar. See ya.